Hello everybody, Victor Bang here. Going to be ramping up leading into the Kickstarter on 4/27. I'm just going to give you a little background on my Matrix job. I talk about being unplugged from the Matrix, but this is my Matrix uniform, if you will. And I have a 9 to 5. And in my Matrix life, if you will, I'm involved with the project of a new system rollout. So this is how it parallels to what I'm doing outside. And in that rollout, it is a new system that is a lot of change for the people that have been doing the current way for 27 years. And I'm not making this up. This is just currently what I'm experiencing. So it's just interesting that the job that I get, which is in Tennessee, happened to be going through this transition. So I'm going to show you the 5 modules that this job sent me to because they see me being a future leader, and I'm going to share this with you that it may help you in your life and see how it parallels. So when I say next slide, that means that I'm going to the next slide. And the reason that I'm doing this is because I can stack these and show you the dense communication. So the first one is planning for success. And in this, the thing that stuck out to me was a pyramid where they have actions at the top. So spirituality and action is about action. Now, when you look at this, the thing that is at the base of the action, if you can think about it as an iceberg, is dreams, attitudes, values, and self-image. So what I'm about is empowering people's self-image because that is the base of action. And this is not just someone talking, this is business. So when you look at business, they're in the business of making money. So they try to do things that work and try to motivate their employees not to become better people, but to become better workers. So we can use this same tried and true formula to increase our own lives, if you will. So that's the one thing that stuck out there. So the next module is called Managing Tasks and Responsibilities, right? Talks about time robbers and dealing with time wasters. And one of the first things that's in here is lost time is never found again, as a quote from Benjamin Franklin. And one of the things that stuck out to me on this was a chart that talked about something that is crucial and pressing and being in reactive and proactive mode. So if you're in reactive mode, you're doing it now and doing it yourself. So yes, I'm being very reactive, but I see that this is crucial and pressing. I'm also trying to be proactive and cross-training, but the thing is, most folks don't even know that there's anything to be trained on because that's the level of deception that we're going through now to where you don't even realize what's going on. And another thing that stuck out to me as well in this is another quote that says, and let me get to it. Today, be aware how you are spending your 1,440 beautiful moments and spend them wisely. So I believe there's nothing more fundamental than spirituality in that I'm spending my time wisely pursuing that. So the next module is called Motivating People. And this is what I'm attempting to do as well, is motivate people. And to help, and this is all about employees, this stuff is about work-related stuff, but I'm using it for a spiritual purpose as well. I believe that's part of the reason why I went through this class, to basically make this video to help other people. But it's about employees. In the frame of mind, you need to practice what you preach. We need a lot more of that in this society. And basically, the motivation to succeed is a result of the opportunity to succeed and the talents and abilities to pursue the opportunity. So there's the opportunity here for us to make this world a definitely better place than what we have. And we all have talents and abilities to pursue that opportunity, and that's what motivates me. And also, one of the things that stuck out in the class was a quote that someone else said, and there are other people in this class that I'm taking as well, that nobody argues with their own ideas. And it's about collaboration and connecting people to the result. And being that we're all in the same boat together, having a more peaceful planet is something that should be shared as far as a result. So the next module is called Responsibility of a Leader, and they have a lot of sports analogies in here. And they talk about sitting on the bench and being stuck in victim mode. And one of the reasons why I chose the name Victor Bang is the first part is Victor, claiming victory, not being a victim. Now, they talk about being on the field and being out of bounds. When you're out of bounds, you say something like, it's not my job or it's somebody else's fault. And when you're on the field, you're going to look, on, think, plan, and act. So we're on the field now. We're on the field of life. And it's no one else's job to change this reality for the better. And we can see that it needs to be changed and that it can be better. Now, one of the quotes that also stuck out is when people see which direction the leaders are going in, it becomes easier to motivate them. So I'm attempting to show you the direction. And it's tough because not many people are trying to go this direction, but I believe it's the correct direction. Anyway, another quote that stuck out is the creation of 1,000 forests is in one acorn. So one seed can create a forest, just like one seed of potential can create all of this right here. So the last module is understanding human behavior, and it talks a lot about self-image. It says a poor or weak self-image makes criticism difficult, sometimes impossible to deal with. And we saw that self-image was at the base of the pyramid and leads up to action. So a lot of these things that we're dealing with now, we're just looking at the top of it. We're just dealing with the actions and correcting that and not fixing the root of the problem, which is the self-image. It says your self-image can evolve without conscious direction. In other words, most people do not provide constructive input to the image they have of themselves. So that's why self-image is so important, and I don't like beliefs that limit us and make us feel that we're inferior or that we're not worthy or that we can't do things. They also talk about a hierarchy of needs by Maslow, where it's looking at your physiological needs such as food, water, sex, and shelter, and it goes up into spirituality, self-transcendence, and self-actualization. But you can't get to that level if you're dealing with stuff like I'm hungry. So that's why socioeconomics is important as well. And we need to solve that problem, and that's part of what we're going to do with spirituality in action. So we just finished going through those, and oh, look at this train's coming. Look at the timing. So imagine there's a train going to higher consciousness. Would you want to ride that train? And I can talk about coincidence as well. Like that happens to be coincidence of the train. So since that train came and I didn't know it was going to come, hopefully you can still hear me. I'll also show you a train that's near here, and you'll look at the coincidence of that. And maybe the next video is going to be coincidence. But I thank y'all for listening this far. Hopefully it makes a lot of sense. And again, this is what is used in business to make money. What are the two things you can't talk about at work? Politics and religion. Two things that are running this thing. They don't want to mess with their money. So you see what's more important than anything. So the train will come and go if you're not ready. So what I've been leaving is the tracks. So, and we'll talk about that later, but I'm going to use the synchronicity that just happened with the train happening to come when I'm filming this at this nature walk to show you the caboose that's close to here. I don't know if it's a caboose or not. It's a piece of a train. And to show you the coincidence in that, and I will be able to wrap this up. And so the communication is going to be dense. I'm trying to speed this up. I'm leading up to 427. That's the Kickstarter, where I'm just showing you the value proposition. You'll support something if you feel it's valuable and if it'll help you. I mean, we all have a selfish part of ourselves. But the thing is, when you realize there's only one self and we're all connected to that self, we are that self is looking at this now, then being selfish involves helping others. And that's when you truly see the connection between us all. So I'm just reading the matrix the best that I can and just getting into that flow. And I've already got out the way, so I'm just basically taking what I'm given and trying to make the best out of it. Trying to make lemonade out of everything that I've been given. So when that train came, I wasn't going to mention this, but now I might as well mention it because that train came and it feels like the right thing to do. Because I came here before a few times just to check it out when I first came here, and something said to add the numbers up. And it's interesting as well as something says, look here, and you can see Clark. I don't know if you can see that there. But, and when I see Clark, it makes me think of John Henry Clark. There's probably other names on here as well, and I'll just probably show a few of them. But the thing that told me to add the numbers up made me add the numbers up, and I saw one of the coincidences that I see all the time. And you can do that as well. So the train happened to come, which made me think about the train, which made me think about the coincidence. So since they're playing sports, and we were talking about sports before, I may get some footage of the sports as well. So it's just how it all comes into play. And over here, it's just where we are. And you can see they do have a camera up there. So someone's watching. Someone's always watching. Someone's always listening. So what you're being shown and what you're seeing is being recorded on different levels. I don't know if many of you know about the Akashic Records, but just think about a record of your life. And we're going to get into that as well, because the only time that exists is now. So your future and past and present are all linked by this now moment. So what you have done, what you're doing has already been done on some level. So I'm experiencing my own movie right now, which mirrors what I've put out in my first album called Now Showing. So there's a whole story. It's rich, it's dense, and hopefully I get to unveil it as much as I believe I can. And it's going to help wake up a lot of people.